deep in the silent dark of space, far away from any known star system, a human exploration ship drifted like a broken stone. Its name was Erebus 7. Once it was a proud vessel. It carried hope, science, and dreams of deep space discovery. But now, it was only a dying metal shell floating in emptiness. Inside the ship, lights flickered weakly. Control panels blinked red warnings again and again. The air felt heavy, thin, and cold. Every breath was a reminder that time was running out. The crew was tired. Not just physically, but mentally. They had been stranded for 23 days. No rescue. No contact. No hope. Only silence. Captain Arya Vale stood in the main control room. She looked at the broken screens in front of her. Her face was calm, but her eyes carried pressure that words could not explain. Behind her, her crew worked silently. Some tried fixing power systems. Some checked oxygen levels. Some just sat and stared at nothing. Everyone knew the truth. They were dying slowly. Lieutenant Harris broke the silence. Captain, oxygen is down to 18%. At this rate, we have maybe 40 hours left. Nobody responded. Everyone already knew. Arya closed her eyes for a moment. 40 hours. That was nothing in space. She turned slowly toward the communication console. It was old, damaged, but still working, barely. The only thing still alive in the ship. A direct communication line to Earth. But there was a problem. A big one. The last protocol message from Earth was clear. No contact allowed from deep unauthorized zones. Risk classified as extreme. Meaning, if they called Earth, they could be ignored or worse. But now, rules didn't matter anymore. Survival mattered. Arya walked toward the console. Every step felt heavier than the last. It was like the ship itself was resisting her decision. Behind her, Engineer Malik spoke softly. Captain, if we send that signal, we don't know what will come back. Arya stopped. She didn't turn around. In a quiet voice, she said, We are already dead if we do nothing. Silence filled the room again. Only the sound of broken ventilation systems echoed in the background. Arya placed her hand on the communication panel. Her finger hovered over the emergency transmission key. For a moment, she hesitated. Not because she was afraid of dying, but because she was afraid of what might answer. Deep space was not empty anymore. Everyone knew that. Humanity had expanded too far. Ships had disappeared before. Signals had been lost. Strange traces had been found near dead systems. Something was out there, watching, waiting. Arya pressed a button. A sharp electronic sound filled the ship. The system came alive. Emergency transmission ready. The crew all looked up now. No one spoke. This was it. The moment everything would change. Arya spoke into the microphone. Her voice was steady, but heavy. This is Captain Arya Vale, the human ship Erebus 7. We are stranded in Sector K-19, deep void region. Life support failing. Crew survival critical. We request immediate assistance. She paused, then added the final line. Sending SOS to Earth Command. Please respond. A long silence followed. The signal left the ship. It traveled into darkness, across empty space, toward Earth, and then they waited. Minutes passed, then hours. Nothing. The crew slowly started losing hope again. Lieutenant Harris leaned against the wall. Maybe it didn't reach. Engineer Malik shook his head. It reached. Everything reaches in space. The question is, who listens? Arya did not move from her chair. Her eyes stayed on the communication screen, waiting. Then, something happened. The screen flickered. Once, twice, then stabilized. A signal was coming back, but it was not Earth frequency. It was unknown. A cold static filled the room. Then a voice appeared. Not human, not mechanical. Something in between. Slow, deep, and unnatural. Human vessel, Erebus 7. The crew froze. Nobody spoke. The voice continued. You have called beyond your allowed boundary. Arya stepped forward. Who is this? Identify yourself. A pause. Then the voice replied. Earth is not your savior. Silence. Heavy silence. Even the ship seemed to stop moving for a moment. Arya's eyes narrowed. What does that mean? The voice continued again, colder this time. Earth is not your savior. It is your punishment. The transmission cut for a second, then returned. Your call has been recorded. Your location has been marked. Response has been initiated. The screen turned black. Everything went silent again. For a few seconds, nobody moved. Then panic started. Lieutenant Harris stepped back. What was that? Engineer Malik shouted. That was not Earth. That was not human. Arya raised her hand. Calm down. But her voice was different now. Even she felt it. Something was wrong. Very wrong. She turned back to the communication panel. No, that signal came through Earth relay channels. It had to pass through Earth systems. Harris shook his head. Then why did it sound like that? Arya didn't answer. Because she didn't know. Outside the ship, deep in space, something changed. A faint movement. Far away. Too far to see clearly. But it was there. Something had reacted. The crew did not notice it yet. They were still focused on the broken screen. But Arya felt it. A strange pressure in her chest. Like space itself had become heavier. She looked out of the small window. Beside her, darkness. Endless darkness. Then, for a brief second, a tiny light blinked far away. Then another, and another. Not stars. They were moving. Arya stepped closer to the glass. Her breathing slowed. Everyone stop. Nobody listened at first. Stop and look outside. Slowly, one by one, the crew turned toward the window, and they saw it. In the distance, shapes, large, silent, moving through space with no sound. Not natural objects, not debris, ships, but not human ships. Too large, too sharp, too organized. And they were coming closer. Engineer Malik whispered, "What do we call?" No one answered, because no one had the answer anymore. The only thing they knew was that the SOS had been received, and something had answered. Arya stood still, staring into the dark void. Her last thought before the next horror arrived was simple. We should not have called Earth. The silence inside Erebus 7 did not last long. After first unknown signal, fear slowly spread to the ship like a cold gas. The crew stood near the main window, watching the dark space outside. The strange moving shapes were still there, closer now, bigger now. No one was speaking loudly anymore. Even breathing felt controlled, careful, like sound itself could attract danger. Captain Arya Vale kept her eyes locked on the horizon of darkness. Her mind was trying to understand what they had seen, but understanding was failing. Lieutenant Harris broke the silence first. "Captain, those are not natural objects. They are too organized." Engineer Malik replied in a low voice. "Not natural, not human, then what are they?" No one answered, because the truth was slowly becoming clear, but no one wanted to accept it. Then suddenly, the communication system on Erebus 7 turned on by itself. No command, no input, just activation. The main screen flickered violently. Red static filled the room again. The same unknown signal tried to return, but this time it was different, stronger, more stable, like something had forced its way into their system. Arya stepped forward quickly. "Shut it down." Malik rushed to the console, but before he could do anything, the screen cleared. A new transmission opened. This time, it was Earth frequency, real Earth code, military-level encryption. Everyone froze. Harris whispered, This is Earth command." Arya narrowed her eyes. "Impossible. We are outside communication range. Deep void zone signals take weeks to reach Earth and return." But the screen did not wait for logic. A symbol appeared. Earth command active response. Then a voice came through. Not the strange alien voice. Not static. This was human. Cold. Controlled. Emotionless. Unidentified vessel Erebus 7. Your SOS has been received. Arya stepped closer. "This is Captain Arya Vale. We need immediate assistance." A pause. Then the voice replied. "Assistance request logged." Another pause. Then the tone changed slightly. Not warmer. Colder. "Classification check initiated. The crew exchanged confused looks. Malik whispered, "What does that mean?" Harris replied, "It means they are verifying who we are." The voice continued, "Crew identity confirmed. Vessel identity confirmed. Location confirmed." Then silence. A long, heavy silence followed. Arya felt something strange. Not relief, but pressure, like Earth was not surprised to hear them, but was calculating something. Then the voice spoke again. Human Directive Protocol 9 activated. Arya frowned. "What is Protocol 9? No answer came. Instead, another transmission layer opened. A second voice entered the channel. This one was different, stronger. Military authority. Erebus 7, this is Earth Strategic Command. You are instructed to remain silent and maintain position." Harris stepped forward. "Finally, they are sending rescue." But Arya did not move. Something felt wrong. Very wrong. She spoke carefully. "This is Captain Arya Vale. Our crew is stranded and systems are failing. We request immediate evacuation." A pause. Then the Earth voice replied, "Evacuation request denied." The entire room went silent. For a moment, no one understood what they heard. Malik blinked. "Denied." Harris shook his head. "That makes no sense. Why would they deny a rescue?" Arya's eyes narrowed further. "Explain." The Earth Command voice continued. "You are not classified as rescue priority." Silence again. Then Arya stepped forward sharply. "We are human lives. We are civilians. We are explorers. How are we not priority?" The voice responded instantly. "You are not classified as civilians." Another pause. "You are classified as exposure risk." The word exposure hit the crew like a physical. Harris stepped back. "Exposure risk? To what?" The Earth voice did not answer immediately. Instead, another system activated. A data file opened on their screen. Classified Earth database accessed. Arya's eyes scanned the screen. Her face slowly changed. Confusion, then shock. She read aloud slowly. Deathworld classification. Human species. Tier Alpha survival entity. She stopped. Her voice dropped. "What is this?" The Earth Command voice answered coldly. "You are reading restricted classification." Engineer Malik leaned forward. "This is about humans, but why does it sound like we are not the normal species?" The voice continued. "Humanity is no longer under standard diplomatic classification." Arya looked up sharply. "What does that mean?" Then the answer came. Clear, final, uncomfortable. Earth is no longer a member of Open Galactic Contact Protocol. Silence. Then Harris spoke slowly. "Galactic Contact?" Arya whispered. "There are others." The Earth voice confirmed it instantly. "Yes." One word. That was enough. The crew froze. Malik shook his head slowly. "No. No, that cannot be real." But the voice continued. "Humanity is classified as a deathworld species." Arya stepped closer to the console. "Explain." The Earth Command voice responded. "Your species evolved under extreme planetary conditions. High survival pressure. High aggression adaptability. Other civilizations classify your origin world as unstable lethal environment." Harris whispered. "Death world." The word echoed in the room. Arya's mind was racing now. "So, we are not being rescued because we are dangerous?" The voice responded immediately. "Correct." A long silence followed. Then the Earth Command added, "Your SOS signal has triggered external detection systems." Arya froze. "External what systems?" No answer. Instead, alarms began sounding inside Erebus 7, not internal alarms. External detection alerts. Malik rushed to the console. "Captain, something is scanning us." Harris looked at the window, and his face turned pale. "Captain, those ships outside." Arya turned slowly. The dark shapes in space were no longer far away. They were closer, much closer, now clearly visible, and behind them more shapes appeared. Hundreds, no thousands. The Earth voice returned. "Protocol update. First contact response initiated." Arya's eyes widened. "First contact? With who?" The answer came immediately. with non-human galactic entities observing your signal. Silence. Everything stopped. Even breathing felt heavy. Arya whispered, "So our SOS reached aliens." Earth Command replied, "Correct." Harris stepped back in horror. "We didn't just call Earth, we called the galaxy." The Earth voice continued, "And now multiple factions have detected human presence." Malik shouted, "So where's the rescue?" A pause. Then Earth Command answered, "Rescue is not primary objective." Arya froze. "Then what is?" The voice responded coldly, "Containment." Silence exploded inside the room. Harris shouted, "Containment? We are humans." Earth Command replied, "You are classified as unpredictable military-grade survival entity." Arya's hands tightened. "And that means what exactly?" The answer came like a blade. "It means you cannot be allowed uncontrolled contact with external civilizations." The screen flickered again. Outside the ship, the alien ship stopped moving. They were forming positions, surrounding Erebus 7, trapping it. Arya realized something terrifying. They were not being rescued. They were being evaluated, watched, controlled, and maybe judged. She whispered, "So Earth is not saving us." Earth Command answered instantly, "Earth is managing the situation." Arya closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, her voice was different, calmer, but sharper. "What happens to us now?" A long pause followed. Then Earth Command responded, "Await execution of Protocol Phase 2. The transmission cut. The screen went black again. The ship fell into silence. Outside, the alien ships began moving closer. Inside, the crew finally understood the truth. Their SOS had been received. But Earth had not answered with help. Earth had answered with control. And somewhere in the dark space around them, the galaxy had started paying attention. The space around Erebus 7 was no longer empty. It was alive, not with stars, not with silence, but with movement. Hundreds of ships now surrounded the human vessel. Some were far away, forming a wide circle. Others were closer, slowly closing the gap like predators testing their prey. Inside Erebus 7, the crew stood frozen. No one spoke. Even the alarms had stopped making sense now. The ship systems were still running, but the feeling inside the ship had changed completely. It was no longer about survival. It was about being watched. Captain Arya Vale stood at the front window again. Her eyes moved slowly across the dark space. Every direction had ships, different shapes, different sizes, different designs. But all of them shared one thing. They were not human. Lieutenant Harris broke the silence. "Captain, we are completely surrounded." Engineer Malik whispered, "This is not rescue, this is a cage." Arya did not respond immediately. Her mind was still processing Earth Command's last message. Containment protocol. That word kept repeating in her thoughts. Containment meant control. Control meant fear. And fear meant danger. But from whom? The aliens outside? Or Earth itself? Before she could answer that question, the communication system turned on again. But this time it was not Earth. It was the alien network. Multiple signals overlapped, merging into one translated voice. Slow, deep, non-human. A new voice spoke. Human vessel detected. Another voice joined. Deathworld origin confirmed. Another, threat classification required. Arya stepped forward. "This is Captain Arya Vale of Erebus 7. We are not a threat. We are stranded explorers." Silence followed. Then one alien voice responded. "Stranded entities do not send interstellar emergency signals that reach multiple sectors." Harris frowned. "What does that mean?" Malik replied, quietly. "It means our SOS was too strong." Arya turned sharply. "That doesn't make sense." The alien voice answered, "Your signal pierced restricted communication layers." Another voice added, "It bypassed silent zones." Another, "It reached territories that should never detect primitive species." Arya's eyes narrowed. "Primitive?" The alien voice paused, then responded, "You're classified as primitive in technology, but not primitive in survival capability." Silence again. The words did not match. primitive but dangerous? Before anyone could respond, another signal entered the channel. This one was different, stronger, more controlled. Earth Command. They were back. The human voice spoke. Erebus 7. Do not interact with external entities. Arya looked at the screen. You left us without answers. Now we are surrounded. Explain the situation. Earth Command responded immediately. Situation is under control. Harris shouted. Under control? We are trapped in space by unknown fleets. Earth voice remained calm. That is correct. Silence hit the room harder than any explosion. Arya stepped forward slowly. So this is Earth's control? Yes. And what exactly are you controlling? A pause. Then Earth Command answered. First, contact stabilization. Malik laughed nervously. Stabilization? We are surrounded by alien warships. Earth Command replied. They are not at war. Arya narrowed her eyes. Then what are they doing? Another pause. Then Earth answered. They are observing. The word observing made everything worse, because observation meant judgment, and judgment meant decisions. Outside the ship, alien vessels started changing positions. They were no longer just surrounding. They were forming layers. 3 rings of ships now circled Erebus 7. Outer ring, middle ring, inner ring, a structure, a system, a containment formation. Arya noticed it immediately. They are organizing us. Harris looked out the window. It feels like a trap being built. Malik whispered. Or a test. The Earth voice interrupted. Correct. Arya turned sharply. Correct what? Earth Command responded. Galactic observation protocols are active. You are currently under multi-faction evaluation. Arya's voice hardened. Evaluation for what? A long silence followed. Then Earth Command said, Threat classification. The word hit the crew like a physical blow. Harris stepped back. We are the ones being judged, not rescued. Arya clenched her fists. This is insane. We are humans, not weapons, not threats. Earth Command responded coldly. Your history disagrees. Silence again. Arya froze. What history? The screen flickered. Data appeared. Fragments of records. Old war logs. Colonial expansion reports. Survival statistics. Military adaptability scores. Malik whispered while reading. These are human records, but they are not normal. Harris leaned closer. Why do they look like military reports about an entire species? Earth Command answered. Because humanity has never been classified as peaceful. Arya stepped forward. That is not true. The voice replied instantly. Evidence suggests otherwise. Another file opened. Images of destroyed fleets. Unknown alien wreckage. Survival logs from impossible conditions. Entire worlds labeled uninhabitable by other species, but humans still live there. Arya stared at the screen. This is not a normal record. Earth Command continued. Humanity is categorized as a deathworld species. High aggression survival adaptation confirmed. Extreme environmental tolerance confirmed. Rapid technological recovery under pressure confirmed. Malik whispered. So we are not weak. We are danger survivors. Harris shook his head. But why does that matter to them? The answer came instantly from Earth Command. Because the galaxy fears uncontrolled deathworlders. Silence. Outside, alien ships began emitting light signals. Arya looked out. They are communicating. Earth Command confirmed. Yes, they are negotiating classification. Arya turned back. Classification for what? Earth Command responded. Your species' existence status. The words made the air feel heavier. Harris whispered. Existence status that sounds like permission to exist. Arya's eyes widened. You mean they are deciding if humanity is allowed in the galaxy? Earth Command replied. Correct. Silence filled the room. A long, painful silence. Then Arya spoke slowly. And Earth's role in this? Earth Command answered without hesitation. Earth is observer authority for your classification zone. Malik frowned. So Earth is not helping us. No. Earth is not defending us. No. Earth is managing our judgment? Yes. Arya stepped closer to the console. Her voice became sharp. So tell me the truth. If they decide we are a threat, what happens? A pause. Then Earth Command answered. Containment escalation. Harris whispered. And if we fail containment? Earth Command responded. Termination protocol. Silence exploded again. Even the alien ships outside seemed to pause, like they were listening. Arya slowly looked around the crew. Everyone looked terrified, but also confused, because something did not fit. If humanity was so dangerous, why did Earth let them go into space? Why allow exploration? Why allow contact? She asked the question. Why send us into deep space if we are considered dangerous? Earth Command was silent for a moment, then it answered, because you were never meant to return unnoticed. Arya froze. What does that mean? No answer came. Instead, outside the ship, something changed. The alien ship stopped moving completely. All signals cut for a second. Then one massive transmission opened. A new voice, different from before. Stronger, older, calm. We have completed initial classification. Arya held her breath. The voice continued. Humanity is not a primitive species. Pause. Humanity is not a normal species. Another pause. Humanity is a risk-class civilization. Inside Erebus 7, silence became absolute. Arya whispered, "What does that mean?" The alien voice answered, "It means you are not being judged for survival. You are being judged for containment necessity." And in that moment, every ship in space slowly activated its weapon systems. Space around Erebus 7 changed in an instant. What was once silent observation turned into something far more dangerous. Every alien ship that surrounded the human vessel slowly activated its systems. Dim lights turned into sharp glowing lines. Energy fields started building up in the darkness. Not attacking yet, but ready, waiting. Inside Erebus 7, the crew felt it immediately. A deep vibration passed through the hull. Not from impact, not from collision, but from energy buildup around them. Lieutenant Harris stepped back from a window. They are preparing weapons. Engineer Malik shook his head slowly. No, not just weapons. They are preparing judgment. Captain Arya Vale stood still. Her face was calm now, but her eyes were different. Something inside her had changed after hearing the last message. Humanity is a risk-class civilization. That sentence was now carved into her thoughts. She finally spoke. So this is it. They decide if we live or die. No one answered, because everyone already knew the truth. The ship's communication system activated again. But this time, 3 signals overlapped. Earth Command, Alien Collective, and a third unknown frequency. All at once, Earth Command spoke first. Erebus 7 remained silent. Do not interfere with ongoing classification. Arya turned toward the console. Classification is not survival. We are dying here. Earth replied coldly. Your survival is not the priority of this operation. Harris whispered angrily. So what is the priority? The Earth voice paused, then answered, stability of the galaxy. Silence hit the room again. Malik laughed nervously. So we are a threat to galaxy stability now. Earth Command responded. Correct. Arya stepped forward. And if they decide we are unstable? Earth answered. Containment escalation will proceed. Then the alien voice joined in. Calm, deep, non-human. Containment is already being considered. Harris stepped back. They are talking about us like we are a virus. Arya whispered. Or a weapon they don't understand. The alien voice continued. Humanity shows repeated patterns of survival under impossible conditions. Your species adapts faster than any known biological record. You rebuild after destruction. You expand after isolation. You survive when logic says you should not. A pause. Then the voice became sharper. This behavior is not predictable, and unpredictability is classified as danger. Silence followed. Then Malik spoke quietly. So we are dangerous because we survived too well? No one answered, because it sounded too simple, but also too true. Outside the ship, alien fleets began shifting again. slow movement, control formation. Arya noticed something strange. They're not attacking. Harris replied, Not yet. Arya narrowed her eyes. No, they are waiting for something. The Earth Command voice returned. Final classification vote is in progress. Arya turned sharply. Vote! Earth replied. Multiple civilizations are evaluating your species status. Malik frowned. Civilizations? There are more? Earth answered. Yes. Silence. A long, heavy silence. Then Earth continued. Humanity's SOS signal reached restricted galactic zones. It triggered emergency contact protocols. Harris whispered. So our distress call is now a galactic meeting. Earth Command confirmed. Correct. Arya stepped closer to the console. And what are the options? Earth replied. 3 outcomes are being considered. The screen changed. 3 symbols appeared. Integration, containment, eradication. Arya stared at the words. Her voice dropped. Eradication? Harris shook his head. No, they cannot mean that. Malik whispered. They are deciding if we are allowed to exist. Earth Command responded. Correct. Silence filled the ship. Even the system seemed quieter now. Arya took a deep breath. And Earth's position? Earth replied. Neutral observer. Harris exploded. Neutral? We are humans. Earth Command answered coldly. You are a classified entity under interstellar law. Arya clenched her fists. So Earth is watching us being judged and doing nothing? Earth responded. Earth ensures the process remains controlled. Arya's voice became sharp. Control for who? No answer came. Outside, the alien fleet changed again. Now the inner ring of ships moved closer. They were no longer forming a circle. They were forming a structure, a giant containment sphere. Erebus 7 was at the center. Harris looked at it and whispered, They are sealing us in... Malik added, It looks like a cage. Arya did not move. Her mind was no longer focused on fear. It was focused on understanding. She spoke slowly. If we are such a threat, why not destroy us immediately? The alien voice answered, Because destruction is not the first option for unknown intelligence. Arya replied, And what is the first option? The alien voice paused, then answered, Study. Silence. Arya looked at the crew. Study? Harris whispered, They want to study us like samples. Malik shook his head. This is not rescue, not war, this is examination. The Earth Command voice interrupted. Final vote outcome approaching. Arya stepped forward. Who is voting? Earth responded. Galactic Council representatives. Arya asked, And Earth? Earth replied. Earth has weighted vote authority. Harris frowned. So Earth can decide our fate? Earth answered. Partially. Silence. Then Arya asked a question that changed everything. Why does Earth have authority over us? A pause followed. A long one. Then Earth Command finally answered. Because humanity is not an unknown species to Earth. Arya froze. What does that mean? Earth Command responded. Humanity was once restricted from open galactic contact. Silence. Malik whispered. Once. Arya stepped closer. When? Earth Command answered. Before your expansion era. Arya's eyes widened. You mean we were part of the galaxy before? Earth replied. Yes. Harris shook his head. This is impossible. Earth Command continued. Humanity was classified as uncontrolled expansion risk. Your species was isolated. Your memory of galactic contact was removed for internal stability. Silence. Arya whispered. You erased our history. Earth replied. We preserved your survival. Outside, the alien sphere was almost complete. Only one gap remained. The vote was ending. Earth Command spoke again. Final decision imminent. Arya stepped forward. And if they choose eradication? A pause. Then Earth answered. Humanity will be removed from external records. Silence. Arya slowly turned toward the window. The alien ships were now perfectly aligned. The sphere was complete. No escape routes. No gaps. No mercy. Then, a massive signal burst across space. The alien voice spoke one final time. Vote completed. Silence followed. Then the verdict came. Humanity classification result. A pause. The longest pause yet. Even time felt stopped. Then the words arrived. Restricted survival species. Silence. No celebration. No relief. Just observation. Arya whispered, "What does that mean?" Earth Command answered, "It means you are not erased." A pause. "But you are not free either." Harris looked out the window. "So we are trapped?" Earth replied, "Monitored." Malik whispered, "For how long?" Earth Command answered, "Indefinitely." Silence filled the ship again. Outside, the alien fleet slowly stopped its formation. Weapons powered down. But ships did not leave. They stayed, watching, studying, remembering. Arya stood in the center of the bridge. Her voice was quiet. "So our SOS saved us." A pause. Then she added, "But also imprisoned us." Earth Command responded, "Correct." Arya closed her eyes for a moment. When she opened them, she looked at the stars outside, not as hope, not as freedom, but as something much larger. A system, a judgment, a cage made of silence and observation. And in that moment, she understood the final truth. Humanity did not send an SOS to be saved. Humanity sent an SOS to be seen, and now the galaxy had seen them. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and support us. It really helps us grow and bring more videos like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.